At one of my heart appointments, I burst into tears because it kept going down.
When they told you only had a short time to live, and then they told you that time was even getting shorter, yeah.
I knew I wasn't going to get over this one until...
Oh, so you actually felt like you weren't going to make it through
100%.
So you
First
thought...
time I ever agreed with the doctors that
you were going to die.
time's up.
Yeah. So you started to think that, well, you're starting to get your life in order for you to pass away, yeah?
Yep.
Just give me 20 minutes and I'll see if I can help you.
And that was after just one treatment.
One treatment.
Did you actually think it was going to work that well, that quickly, Glenn?
Not that quickly.
No.
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 Never thought it was going to work like that.
Yeah, right.
Never like turn the switch on and off.
Yeah.
You can tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah.
No, I can breathe. I can run. I'm doing weights every day.
Oh, you can run now, Glenn? Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm cycling.
Oh, wow.
With the COVID, I'd cycle at home on a wind trainer, and then I'll do light weights, and then I get on the cross trainer. I could only do one shoe at a time, and then I'd sit up and stop for a bit and catch my breath.
That's to lace up your shoes, yeah? You could only lace up one shoe. And so you could say after Malcolm's treatment, it was that treatment that enabled you to run again, yeah?
Yep.
So you're running, lifting weights?
Yep.
Wow, okay. Oh, that's incredible. Yeah, and so life now is good, yeah?
Yeah.
And so what would you say that, I mean, like, he saved your life?
Yes.
So we're here today and we're going to be talking about a patient of Malcolm. Malcolm is a student who qualified a year ago in the course of YinYang needling, and he needled his patient here, who's Glenn. So maybe we'll just start by asking Glenn, what actually happened? Did you go to the doctor, or how were you feeling, and what did they say?
I had a rare heart disease since I was 3 or 4, undiagnosed. They diagnosed it about 10, 15 years ago, and they gave me a handful of years to live. And my heart continued to deteriorate. And they gave me 6 months to live. I said I wouldn't make it to the 4th June. I worked with Malcolm for many years, and yes, my health was deteriorating rapidly to the stage where I couldn't walk up a flight of stairs without huffing and puffing and having to stop. And that was when Malcolm said, "Let me help you." We went in a room. I had my first round of needling to increase my lung capacity. And for the first time in 20 years, 30 years, I could breathe through my nose with my mouth closed and not be short of breath.
And that was after just one treatment?
One treatment, 10 minutes after the treatment.
And has that remained since then?
Yes, 100%. And it's enabled me then to be able to exercise to strengthen my heart, which we've now reversed and sending it back in a positive direction.
So you've had tests done now, and that's all starting to get stronger and good again, yes?
Yes, and a deteriorated heart muscle shouldn't be able to fix itself, but my last stress test, which was running flat out for 10 minutes, which I didn't think I could do. I couldn't have. And then go straight on a board, and you have an ultrasound. They've got 60 seconds to gather the data from your heart. And during a stress test, I've got the heart fracture rate back to 56.4. So at rest, it would probably be a little higher.
Wow, you must be happy with that, yeah?
Yeah. The last stress test I had was 4 years prior. I only managed to go about 8.5 minutes before you fell down. Yeah. And I thought I was in a better heart condition than where I was now. And I said, I'll never make that far. And I ran and did the whole run.
Wow, that's so good. So Malcolm, what was it like? I mean, you qualified it just after your first year, and then you've got a friend with a case like this. I mean, tell us how you started to think about that, yes?
Well, when he was at work sitting at the table, and like he was breathing so bad that he would have been lucky to blow a candle out, and he was sweating, and I said, just give me 20 minutes and I'll see if I can help you. And as he said, we took him upstairs. I did the heart treatment. No, sorry, the lung treatment. And within 20 minutes, I could tell that it was starting to improve already.
Yeah.
Like he was breathing, starting to breathe normal. He wasn't panting or anything like that. And as he said, when he come downstairs, no, he could breathe through his nose. And the boss goes, "Did that really work?" He goes, "What does it look like?" You know, he was like, to me, he was not very good at all. He was a bad colour and everything, like he was grey before he went upstairs.
Yeah, right, yeah. So, and that was pretty much the condition that you were in before. And you had a lot of other obvious treatments and stuff, and a lot of experts look at you over your life and everything like that, Glenn, prior to this.
I had experimental heart surgery
Right. Wow.
5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
That gave me, for the first time in my life, a full heartbeat.
Yes, okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, for the first time ever. I'd never had that. So we thought that was a win, and we were going
Go from
to
there.
beat the heart thing, which it did for 4 years. And then I felt it myself. No energy, back to lethargic, grey.
Yeah.
And the breathing was the first thing. To fix that,
Yeah.
you can then start and work on
And
the heart.
when they told you you only had a short time to live, and then they told you that that time was even getting shorter, yeah, what did that feel like at that time? Yeah.
I knew I wasn't going to get over this one until
Oh, so you actually felt like you weren't going to make it through
100%.
So you
First
thought
time I ever agreed with the doctors that
you were going to die.
time's up.
Yeah. So you started to think that, well, you're starting to get your life in order for you to pass away, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. And you were, he was visibly ill, yes?
Yes.
You could notice the difference in him.
Oh, yeah.
He was going greyer by the day.
He was sweating, well, like it wasn't even hot. Like had a towel and he was kept wiping his head when you were sitting there talking to him, and he
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. So you could audibly hear him
Yes.
breathing badly, yeah?
Yeah.
Right.
What I've learned in the course, you know.
You could hear it there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you could hear that reach for that breath, yeah. And so, and pretty much straight away, that started to remove the greyness as soon as you got your lung power back, yeah?
And I can still sit here and breathe.
Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, that's really good. And the sweating stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
That
was
was like my body trying
yeah, that's right.
too hard to just...
Because it tries to balance everything out, and it's got
Yeah.
hot and cold not working properly,
Yeah.
so all of those issues come, and the heart's not matched with the body. So then after you treated the lungs, where did you go to after that, once you got the lungs working, Malcolm?
Well, that's when COVID came in, and Glenn had to stop work because they said if he caught COVID, he'd be dead in 10 days.
Yeah, so fair enough.
So I suggest he come out to my house, and we treated. I did the lung treatment, like a full lung treatment, front and back, and then next time I did the heart.
Okay, so let's talk about that. How was it after you got the heart treatment? Did that really take you another level up?
The heart wasn't as noticeable as the lungs, because the lungs is instant, you could breathe.
Yes, okay.
But over the duration, it obviously did, because all the testing that they've done after that
That's the one.
documents,
Yeah.
yes, it's gotten better.
Yeah, okay. Because that is the thing with heart. It's you need to have it tested by professionals, because they've got all of the equipment to be able to get that. But we actually know when that's worked. You would have had the pulses come up good, yes?
Yes.
So and so now they're saying what you're going to live longer, Glenn. Is there?
Yes.
Have they taken the time off the table now?
Yeah, they've taken me off the dying list into the living pile, and they don't even want to worry about me. I think
But in yourself now, you're back to
young and vibrant.
yeah, and dangerous, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what did it feel like to have that complete change, Malcolm, when you started treating? I mean, how did you actually think of it?
Well, to me, it was like I was saving a mate. You know,
Yeah,
I didn't want to go to his funeral in 6 months' time. You know.
yeah,
So
that's right.
I
Yeah,
thought, I got to try something. Nobody else can.
yeah,
So, and with what you've taught us, I thought that I could help him
yeah,
and get through the whole thing. So,
that's right.
and we have.
Yeah, and the great thing is that you know, Malcolm did all of this himself. He didn't phone me up going, "What should I do?" or anything like that. He just goes back to the basic principles that he's learnt and gone through the cats and
Yes.
everything like that, and then worked out what points were the correct ones inside there.
So we did the 3 categories. We did lungs, and then we did heart, and we also did exhaustion, because after all the stuff that he's had, he was exhausted. So
Yeah, right.
I just did the whole 3 cats.
Yeah,
Each week, he only came once a week, and I treated him for, what was it, 6, 8 weeks?
okay, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you wouldn't be coming back if it wasn't going to work. You know.
Correct.
So-
He wouldn't be here.
yeah,
I'm an
yeah,
old-fashioned mechanic. If I can see it work, it works.
yeah,
And to walk up, struggle up a flight of stairs, lean over a desk and have a quick needling just while we're at work, to walk back down, breathing.
yeah. That's right.
Cruise for hitting you right in the face there.
Yeah. And then, how long did it take for the sweating to go away? Did that go away pretty quickly?
Yeah, within a week.
Oh,
By
okay.
the time we did the second, it had stopped
Yeah, right. Okay.
and started to level out.
Yeah. And so that would have been really good, yeah. So
Yes.
you got a lot more yin going in there
Yeah.
and got that
Yeah.
whole thing working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
So
So how does that feel now, Malcolm?
it feels good.
Yeah.
You know.
Feels better for me.
That's right.
Yeah. It's a great thing though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Being able to do that.
Yeah. You know, I've done a lot of things in my life, but you know, I've saved cows in the past, being a dairy farmer. But to save a human, that's different again.
Yeah, it's a
You know.
great thing, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
So
It's a, how should I say? It's a part in life that unless you actually get to experience that, of being able to change a person's health to where they are going to actually live longer and live better, it's a rare thing to be able to do, you know.
You can tell me I'm wrong. You know, I can breathe. I can run. I'm doing weights every day.
Oh, you can
And-
run now, Glenn? Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm cycling.
Oh, wow.
With the COVID, I cycle at home on a wind trainer, and then
Yeah.
I do light weights, and then I get on the cross trainer.
But there was no way you could have,
I was out of breath doing the shoes up, without being silly. I truly was. Bent over, reduced lung capacity again because you bent over. I could only do one shoe at a time, and then I'd sit up and stop for a bit and catch my breath.
that's to lace up your shoes, yeah? You could only lace up one shoe. And so you could say after Malcolm's treatment, it was that treatment that enabled you to run again, yeah?
Yep.
So you were running, lifting weights?
Yep.
Wow, okay. Oh, that's incredible. Yeah. Well, how does that feel, Malcolm?
I've been slack for 2 weeks because I've been on holiday. I'm
No,
getting
no.
the gym's still there set up, so we're good.
Oh, well,
And I'm not prepared to go backwards, so I'm not going
No.
to stop it. So.
no. And it's good to have a rest, though. And it's good to hear that you are taking breaks and stuff, yeah? That means that surely the reason why you can take a couple of weeks off, though, now, Glenn, is because you feel less threatened about actually falling off the cliff, yeah?
Yep, personal reward.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And that was what that was all about. Because I got told December that I wouldn't make it to June.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
We're past that now?
And I didn't tell anybody
Yeah, right.
until it was noticeable.
Yeah. Wow. So you knew at the time that he had the death.
yeah, because we had a discussion, didn't we?
Yeah,
No, I
we all
think-
had.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I was one of the first to know that.
Yeah.
I thought, well, this is not good. We need to do something about this.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. But the day that he came to work looking grey and unable to breathe, that was the snap point for you, yeah?
yeah.
That's where you
I could
walked.
see it. It was getting worse, and I said, "Man, we just need to do this." I said, "Just give me 20 minutes." I said, "I'll help you. See what I can do."
Yeah.
And yeah, he just leaned over the table, and I did the shoe points on the back, and that was like I could hear it. he was going for, and it started calming, and by the time he finished, he was almost normal breathing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there's nothing calm about him breathing. It was gasp.
Yeah. Pretty terrifying, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the heart clinic says, what's the most important, the most crucial part of your body? In the heart clinic, you think, oh, well, they're going to, of course, we want heart. And they all say, no, it's lungs.
Yeah.
Without the lungs,
That's right.
everything else is gone.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
whilst we're talking about my heart, the lungs was what saved me
Yeah.
and was able to then go through with heart health.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because once you can draw, and you know too, once you can draw that big breath,
Yeah.
now you can actually exercise, and of course everything gets stronger with use.
Yeah.
But if you can't draw that great breath, well then everything just gets weaker because it can't operate.
Yeah. And to exercise your heart, you have to maintain a elevated heart rate, not stupid, but just up.
Yeah.
And your heart only starts exercising after 20 minutes. The first 20 minutes is just about getting it there. So if you only walk for 23 minutes, you've exercised for 3.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, and you can't exercise for 20 minutes if you can't breathe.
Yeah, true. Right. So you can't even get to the 3 minute part. Yeah. And so, like, there would be, I'm only guessing, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it's a normal human reaction that when you're actually facing a death date, let's call it that, a death date, is that there's sort of like there's a grasping of what can I do, I've got to try and make this past this. And so we notice quite often with patients that once we do get them breathing back again, or do get their heart rate to come back in balance, or whatever the condition is that's inside them, there's still this frantic race, like even though they're noticing that they're getting well, they're still scared that oh, this could be just so temporary and it could fall back again. But I think the fact that you've taken 2 weeks off is actually starting to tell me that you actually think that this isn't going to roll back now because you're not so frantic that you have to.
Correct.
Yeah, is that
The
pretty good?
holiday was for my mind after
Yeah, because
6 months of...
it's for the belief structure, isn't it? It's like it's to reset the belief structure, because even though you physically we physically help you, there's still like the fact that because before your health really rolls back on you and you've got a death date, it seems to be something that you never really think's coming. But once you've actually had one, you go, boy, I don't want to go anywhere near that ever again. You know, it's a bit like, well, certainly with my father, I was going to touch hot pots on the stove, so he grabbed a hold of my hand and made me hold the old days had a steel handled pot, you know, the folded one, and he made me hold on to that. Oh, mate, that was so hot. And you know what, you never want to touch it again. You don't go anywhere near that, yeah? You don't even play with that no more. And sort of once you got a death date, you go, boy, I don't want to play with a death date ever again. I've got to get myself so far away from that death date. And you can notice that even though they're getting well, there's still a scramble of getting a big distance between that. And so, like I said, for you to take 2 weeks off is like you're going, well, that's back far enough now that I can actually take a breath and go, you know what, I think I'm going to be around here for a little while. Yeah. How does that feel?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I knew what Glenn was going through because I have had asthma attacks in the past, and that's why I've always exercised. I don't take the drugs.
Yeah.
And I know what it's like to, like, for me, I can breathe in, but when you can't breathe out, it's not good. So I knew what he's going through because I've not died.
No.
I'm told I'm going to die, but I knew I had to help.
Yeah.
With the
You
breath.
had to help.
I had to help.
Yeah. Isn't that a great thing though? And, you know, and probably prior to doing this, imagine if you hadn't done the course, Malcolm, what that would have been like. Yeah. Because you just watch people go off into the night and you can't do anything, and so you just sort of swear at the system really and think to yourself, well, it sucks. Yeah. You know, so, but what does it feel like to actually be able to do something now?
I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I work 5 days a week, and then on my days off, I've opened up a clinic at my home, and I treat people on my day off. So I sell Harleys, and there's a buzz when you sell somebody who's saved all their life to get a bike, and now I also now incorporate my card, my needling information, and they come and see me about fixing their lives as well, their bodies as well as, you know.
Yeah.
their
And
size.
so what are the type of things that you've treated since you've qualified? Let's just go through a few of them.
Most of them have been headaches,
Okay.
lungs.
Yeah.
I had one guy who's in the Harley Club. He comes up to me and goes, "That voodoo shit you do," he said, "will it help me?" I said, and he's owns his own business. He's a plumber, and like he works from 5 in the morning till 5 at night.
Yeah.
And he said, by the time I've done my first job, he said, I'm totally buggered. He said, and driving home at night, I'm you know,
Dangerous.
I'm about to fall asleep.
Yeah, yeah.
I gave him one treatment. I did the exhaustion treatment, and after that, I spoke to him 2 days later. He goes, "What the hell have you done?" I said, "Why?" He goes, "I said I got up at 5 in the morning." He said, "I didn't stop till 5 at night." He said, "And I was still going." He says, "This is great shit." He doesn't mix his words.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
he's been to me a couple of times now, and I've seen him lately. This is like 12 months ago nearly.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's still going strong.
Wow. So he would have been early on in the piece then. You must have been only just graduated, and then so you treated him for that exhaustion, complete exhaustion, and that's held for 12 months now. He's still going. Yeah. And that's the great thing. You'd say the same thing, that these treatments hold. Once you get them, they don't. It's not like it's something that you got to have all the time.
No.
Yeah, that's right. That's the great thing about this. And even we actually fix that and it locks in.
And you've done eczema, severe eczema, to the point where it's bleeding and cracked.
Yes.
And no cream or medication has ever worked. Been there since a child. And it just went away.
That was on you?
No.
On another person, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was, and you saw that.
Yep, not my partner. I mean, she would scratch her hand along the desk for the itch, and nothing, no form of cream works at all. And even the softest of creams would just sting uncontrollable.
Right. Yeah.
Soap, water, dry air, wind, all those things.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even treating her for that.
And you weren't treating her for that, and it just went away.
Yeah. Okay.
So the whole just got the body to heal itself.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and that's the big thing. You know, I've worked with people with severe brain injuries, and they go, "How could needling actually fix a brain?" Well, you know, that's a thought as if a brain could exist all on its own and have trouble. It's the whole body is attached to the brain. So if you actually fix the whole body up, guess what? The body wants the brain to be well, you know. So if you fix the underlying other things, and so this person came, it's your partner who came, yeah? And so you were treating her for other things, but other health condition goes away. And how often do we see that? We see that like forever, and it's constant with us in the clinic. Oh well, so you needled his partner
As well.
a long time before him.
No, he brought her along.
Oh, he brought her along. Oh, good on you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's scared of needles.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So
And her mother's about to start.
Oh, now her mother's coming to you for a treatment. Wow. Yeah.
so yeah. I mean,
That's right. We don't really have to. It starts to once you start fixing people. You know, that's the greatest form of advertising forever. I mean, try shutting up people when they've actually
still alive.
Yeah. Well, that's a point. Yeah. But I was just saying, you know, once people have the experience where I presume your partner had that for quite a long time in her life, and then to have that totally disappear, and the only real difference in the whole ecosystem of her life was that Malcolm was needling her,
And it's quite funny. I have a lot of people at work they got tattoos and go, oh, I hate needles. I said, well, where'd you get those tattoos?
Yeah, or ear piercings.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've had that too. With
Yeah.
people with actually a nose pierce, you know,
Yeah.
where the steel is actually left in their body,
Yeah.
tell you they don't like
Yeah.
needles. And I go, well, we're going to take these out. We're not going to leave them in like the tinsel you've got in there. You know, it's an interesting thing how that strange human beings have those different.
You can do what you like to me. 5 hours of heart surgery awake. I'm on a couple of needles. It hurt.
Yeah. So you had a headache for 3 weeks.
Yep. Borderline migraine, which I suffer from periodically.
Okay. And Malcolm gave you one treatment for that,
Mhm.
and then that's gone.
Yep.
That went.
Yep.
Wow.
That was a headache that couldn't shift. And again, I don't like taking pills, but
Yeah.
I was taking a lot of Mesindor for relaxants to try and get rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay. So you've got experience now with YinYang living on several different,
Correct.
and plus.
And now we're about to start a whole new bunch of things because we're going to let the heart and lungs just keep doing its thing, getting better.
Yeah, and you're going to go after other stuff to get
Correct.
you. Yeah. Okay. So you got your lungs and your heart back, yes, which was incredible, and
And his health.
migraine headache, eh?
And his health.
And his health, yeah, and his wife back on the table. You fixed his partner who had a bad skin condition for.
She came in for migraines.
Oh, she came in for migraines, and fixing the migraines, yeah, that makes sense. So,
Yeah.
so the whole lot was there. Yeah. So did one of the categories go into allergies for her? Did
No.
you didn't even get the?
No, I didn't do the allergies at all.
No, okay.
I was doing the other things that were wrong with her.
Yeah, right.
And that the body's just right with its head and everything. So
Yeah,
Fan-
we're yet to get to the
Yeah.
other things.
So there's still other stuff to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is that with health, how this works is that if you've got a mountain of problems, if you actually start treating the very worst problem in your life, the rest just starts to melt away, because these other things usually you find are a result of this. They're actually causing or have a relationship
Yeah.
with many of these other minor things that are in your life, if you could call them minor, you know. So by your partner actually coming and Malcolm treating the very worst aspects, you could start to see all of these other things clear up too, you know. Like we've had people come in with migraine problems and they go, oh, and the other thing is my bowels are working properly now. And we go, oh, you didn't mention that. And they said, yeah, I didn't think you could do anything for that, you know. So, you know,
Yeah.
but with us, the whole body is like a balancing ecosystem that once one thing starts to lean or go out, if you can get that back, well, it's just like your lungs, for example. Once you got your lungs and your heart power back, everything in your health now starts to recover. And so now your partner's mother's going to see Malcolm. Have you treated her yet?
No, not yet.
No. So that's about to happen. So the only reason why she's going to see you is because her daughter fixed her daughter and fixed. Yeah. So that has to be like a pretty incredible.
and like what was it? It's over. It's nearly 2 years now, I think. And my wife thought that she had varicose veins. She went to the doctor at 5:30. The doctor told her that she had swollen glands in the groin.
Yes.
On the way home, I said, "How about I just treat you?" I said, "It can't hurt." She goes, "All right," because she was a bit more sceptical of me. I could see things that it would work. So I treated her when I got home, and she already had an appointment at the hospital to be operated on the next morning. And I said, so to my wife, I said, so are you going to the hospital this morning? She goes, I can't. I said, why not? She goes, because it's 60% gone. She said, they're not going to be able to do anything. She said, it's already fixed.
And that's remained?
Yeah. She's never had any problems since.
Right.
Yeah.
And you just carried out a 9 cats treatment, yeah?
Yeah.
Because you don't know how to treat that, do you? You don't know what to do. No, you just know if you
I
go
just-
through the process
Yeah, I just picked the treatment that I thought would help her.
and using the sciences that you learned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one treatment that was 60% gone.
Yeah.
Like within an hour and a half, she said the pain has already started going, and the next morning it was 60% gone.
Right. Yeah.
And she goes, I can't go to hospital, they're going to laugh at me,
Yeah, that's exactly right.
because there's nothing there.
Yeah.
So,
That's right. We've had that too, where people are scheduled for surgery and they've come, and so we get a chance, you know, to reduce the size of spleens and from swollen spleens from falling off a horse or something crazy, you know, and these type of things. And people think, oh, you know, they come to you because they're just feeling so, you know, like they're feeling like they're vomiting and got headaches and stuff as a result of the spleen thing, and they've gone, oh, I've heard that you're good for headaches. So you come and you treat them, and then they come back the next time, they say, oh, I was due to go to surgery, but my spleen has gone down too. And because the body wants to get back to normal. That's what we've got to try and... I mean, if you cut yourself, the first thing it does is it tries to mend. You know, that's what it tries to do. You know, everything in the body wants to do that.
yeah.
You know, and so if you can find a way of getting the body to actually do the work, then it's going to do all the great lifting, because it's got all the sensibility. And that's the great, I suppose, one of the bigger advantages over drug medication with this is that we heighten the sensitivity of everything in the body to be able to sense a better balance, so it can regulate its own heart better and regulate its lung, and you know, all of the faculties of all of the organs are more able to sense finer adjustments naturally, and that's actually how that works, is by causing those things to increase their ability. Yeah. Oh, well, look, that's a great story, to have it expanded out into your partner and now into her mother, and that's how the business model grows from a business point of view. But from a family point of view, a great physician in YinYang needling in amongst the midst of a family just changes the whole family's health. Yeah, that's a very common thing for us as family, extended family, and we've had, you know, people just come in and go, you've fixed all of us, you know, like the whole lot of us here, you know, not just one or two. It starts to grow into 10, 15, 20 people, and when you've got 20 people going, all of our health has changed. We have been seeking health advice, whether it be natural or classical, you know, for years in these areas, and no result. And then the one thing is that they meet YinYang needling, and a whole group of people start to change their health. You know, that's where, you know, that changes a whole family's culture and future. You know, they're not sitting around talking about how sick they are. That's talking about doing some great things. You know, yeah, which is good.
But we'll just rewind.
Yeah,
On feeling good as my future now.
yeah. Let's talk
So
about
much
that.
so that my partner of 9 years has put up with hell. We've now gotten engaged because I have a future.
Oh, mate.
True.
It's so good to hear.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations on that. Wow.
So rather than her putting me in a hole,
Yeah. That must have been quite terrifying for her too, yeah?
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made it worse.
Well, it's
Because,
well, it's always an unusual thing to actually... Dying, we don't get much practice at that, yeah?
no,
So-
that's right.
So when you gave him the treatment for exhaustion, did that really help its overall?
The whole the three treatments, like the three different
Yeah.
categories that I treated, each time was getting better and better.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
could
and-
actually feel it getting stronger, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, and so life now is good, yeah?
Yeah.
And so what would you say that, I mean, like, he saved your life?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I really have said that.
If you-
If I couldn't breathe, that was it.
Yeah. And you could notice your breath deteriorating, yeah?
Oh.
Yeah.
Rapidly.
Like from,
I was back to having sleeps at work.
yeah, okay. Yeah. And what was the fear factor like at that stage, you know? How did you feel about that when you could feel yourself deteriorating down there?
And try to block it out, but
Yeah, yeah. It's a hard thing.
yeah, that's the first, like I said, I've been told 5 times that I'm going to die out of my life. It's the first time I believed them because
You could
I
feel it.
knew it was going downhill weekly.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then as soon as you got that treatment, then that was it.
Hello?
Yeah. So it's just like life back again, and you knew in yourself of selves that after those treatments, then you knew that had turned a corner. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
Malcolm was the first person I sent a message to going after the stress test.
yeah.
That's what we've done.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's really cool. Yeah. Yeah, and you and your wife did the course, Malcolm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, what is that like? You know.
Well, with her doing the course as well, like if she has a patient and we sit there and talk about, because we both doing it and that, we sit about and talk about, she's more academic then and I'm more hands-on, so I'm more like, yeah, let's just do this and just do it, That was like with Glenn. It's like, I got to do this, otherwise he's dead,
Yeah.
So, but my wife's more academic, so she works it all out her own way. So
Yes.
it's like yin and yang.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you really are. Both of you are so different in your approach. Yeah,
Yeah.
but she's just as successful,
Yeah.
and but you both are able to use these sciences to be
Yeah.
able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really great thing. And so, what did your doctors have to say when you started to get well again, Glenn? I mean, that must have been a bit of an unusual thing, surely.
It was. I honestly thought that they'd, be a little more closed-minded than what I was, but starting with my GP, open mind and firmly believed. My lungs specialist, when I was speaking to her during the lung test, she's gone, I can't believe your lung capacity. This is awesome. And that's when I told her about the needling. And she went, really? I went, 100%. And then the cardiac surgeon, he just says continue.
Wow. Wow.
But, so,
There is a big change now in Western medicine that they are identifying that there are things out there. They know there's a lot of stuff that's just rubbish too, but
Yeah.
if their patients are getting well,
Correct.
they really are on board.
Yeah.
Because ultimately we're all after the same end, which is to try
Yeah.
and fix somebody.
And they can't say it's not working because the results are from their
Yeah.
tests that they order. So
Yeah, that's the point too. Yeah, and that would be a very rare thing when they're watching deterioration go down like that. To have that turnaround, to increase lung capacity is a very difficult thing to do. Like we have a lot of people who are into sports and they just come here solely to increase their ability. I mean, it's quite surprising what you can do with a person who's got, their lungs, they think they've reached the end of them, but we really can make them perform better. So, yeah, but that is, that's a great thing to hear, It is.
yeah, I haven't had any doctor be closed-minded or write it off because the proof's on the board. I mean, at one of my heart appointments, prior to it turning around, I burst into tears because it kept going down.
Okay.
And then when it started to turn around, I went, now it's a win. Now it's a win.
Hey, good on you, good. Yeah. And and Malcolm, so that's a great thing, yeah?
Yeah, it is just for me. So, to save a mate, that's...
So what happened at work? Surely everybody else must have noticed after you needled him there was a change?
Yeah, especially the boss.
Oh yeah, okay.
There's a lot of non-believers, and when Glenn looked as though he's freaking dying, can't breathe, and then after a 20-minute treatment he gets out and he's breathing through his nose and like he's back to normal colour and everything, and the boss goes, did that work? So, it's not rocket science, so, but it was great. I knew what it was going to do, because I've had a patient before that had emphysema, and in one treatment he was lying on the table, sounded like he was about to pass out. He had oxygen as well, and when he was an older bloke, and he said, when I said I finished, he said, I said, how's that? He goes, oh, I don't think it did anything. And then he got up and put his shirt on and goes, oh, I couldn't do that before. And then he walked up the stairs and goes, oh, I couldn't have done that before. I said, so it's working? He goes, yep.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so emphysema is quite a serious condition.
Yeah, he was an ex-mechanic that used to grind brakes and
Yep, me
pads.
too.
Oh, yeah.
That's why those surprised me with my lung capacity, because I served my apprenticeship through asbestos, blown them off.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I knew it was going to work. So, good teacher.
We'll
and
see.
then we just kept walking around work smiling at all the skeptics going,
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
So did you actually tell me about your belief structure as you were about to have this first treatment on your lungs? Did you actually think it was going to work that well, that quickly, Glenn?
not that quickly.
No,
No,
no.
never thought it was going to work like that.
Yeah, right.
No, like turn the switch on and off.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
go up the stairs disabled, back down the stairs fine.
yeah. You have people who believe sometimes that it's all mind over matter, you know.
Yeah.
That's a very common thing.
Yeah.
I remember I had a patient come in and she had a headache, and so she says, I don't believe this, you know, it's all just mind over matter. And I said, oh really? I hadn't put the needles in. So she had this terrible headache. I says, it's still really bad? And she goes, yeah, oh yeah. She says, it's really bad. And so I put the needles in, and I said, now I'm going to put these last two in, and it's all just going to go away. And so I put it in, and I said, how's the headache? She goes, it's gone. I said, okay, so let's try the mind over matter thing. I said, my needle's in, you see with your mind if you can make that headache come back. I said, there you go, bring it back. And she says, I can't. And I said, that's right. So that's the mind over matter out the door. And that was it, and in one treatment, and never came back. And you've done the same thing, haven't you,
Yes.
Malcolm?
I have, yep. It seems to be going good now.
And headaches are gone?
Very minimal now, yeah.
Very minimal, yeah. I suppose the real big thing here, and I'd like to thank you both so much for coming in, is that the biggest thing for me is that what I wanted to be able to show is that there's not just us who have been doing this for years and years who are able to do incredible things, but that a person after graduating from the course of just a little over a year is able to actually do something of this magnitude. And look, Malcolm's not the only person who has done this. Most of the students who graduate from this are able to tell stories like this where they've had patients come in and been able to change their whole health and their whole future, and that's really what the course is about. So if you're a person who's really interested in becoming a health professional and would like to have the thrill that Malcolm has of being able to hear and see people like Glenn's life just change because of a direct result of what he's doing. That's what we made this small video up about, just so that you could see that here's Malcolm who's done this. He's not a guy who ever thought that he was going to become a practitioner like this, and how lucky are you, Glenn, that that happened, yeah?
Very. And it's not smoke and mirrors, it works.
Yeah, okay. Well, look, thanks a lot. Is there anything you want to say, Malcolm, before?
I think everyone should, if they're keen on learning this YinYang needling, I would suggest that you do it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Because you can help so many people.
Yeah.
That instead of them taking drugs, and I don't like to take drugs. I hate taking drugs. I got to do it naturally, and this is a good way to do it naturally.
Yeah. And you want to say something just to finish off?
I'm the same. I don't like medication. When I came out of the heart clinic initially after heart failure, I was on 2 foolscap pages of medication.
Wow.
And my goal then was get healthy enough to not take a pill.
Yeah. How far away are you from that?
I'm going to take 1 pill.
One pill. And how many
One a
did you?
day.
And how many were you taking before?
I had 2 organisers because I wouldn't fit in one.
Right.
And there was one particular heart medication that I have. I'm the only person in the world that has a dramatic side effect with it, and I've refused to take it.
Right. Okay.
So luckily we got my health back before I had to take it, because it's not friendly for me.
Okay. Yeah. Right. And then that's often the case. It's not that some of these things are always bad. They just don't always melt well with people's
That's right.
makeup, and so it's good. Yeah. Oh well, thanks very much, guys, for coming in. So good.
No,
Great.
thank you.
Hey?
And thank you.
Yeah, good on you, Malcolm. Yeah.